Sicko Mode, Goosebumps, No Idea, Motorsport, and No Heart. These are just some of the chart-topping hits with samples made by two brothers from small-town Germany, Kevin and Tim Gomringer, or known by most as Cubeatz. If you're a fan of hip-hop, there is no doubt you would have come across the Cubeatz sound whether you knew it or not. And if you're a producer like us, we're sure you've taken inspiration from the producer duo who have had such a huge impact on the sound of modern hip-hop. After going platinum 32 times, being nominated for 7 BET Awards, as well as 10 Grammy nominations, you can only find about 6 photos of them and 1 interview from 8 years ago on the internet. It's fair to assume that the brothers have avoided the limelight and not worried at all about the fame and attention. Over the last 10 years, Cubeatz have formed great relationships with producers such as Metro Boomin, Boy Wonder, Murder Beats, and many, many more, resulting in tons of hit songs like Motorsport, Sicko Mode, and of course, Goosebumps.
I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich.
Let's take a look at how this song is produced, break down the Cubeatz melody, and figure out why they are the producers' favorite producers.
Alright boys, let's not waste any time, let's jump straight into it. So the first layer we wanted to recreate was the reverse piano sound that runs throughout the sample in Goosebumps. To do this, we'll use the preset 1982 from Analog Labs, and this is the melody we came up with. We just added a simple reverb to this piano before rendering it out. Now that we've got it rendered out, we reversed it, pitched it down 3 semitones, and added these effects. Now it sounds like this. Next we added a one shot from a random kit we've got. We added these effects, and now it sounds like this. Next, to add the plucks. We've also used a one shot for this main pluck. We've put these effects on it, and here's what it sounds like. We layered that pluck with another pluck from Analog Labs. The preset we used was Fantasy Keys, and here's what they sound like together. And now to lay off those plucks, we've got a random one-shot bass we got off Reddit. Here are the effects we added onto it, and here's what those plucks and bass sound like all together. Next we got pretty creative and recorded a one-shot from a live electric guitar. We'd use this guitar to record, and ran it through with this random FX pedal that was just lying around in the house. We can't exactly remember the process that we used to cut up all these random sounds, but we did a lot of chopping, reversing, and we'll show you the effects we used. Firstly, on the main one shot, here are the effects. On the second one shot layer, which we reversed, we used these effects. Now, all together, here's what they sound like. Those are all the layers to the first part of the sample, just like in Goosebumps. Here are the samples side by side. The first part of the sample was sorted. Now let's move on to the second part. The second part of the Goosebumps sample introduces ambient electric guitars as well as a thick sub bass.
7:30.
So firstly, we added our thick sub bass using a one shot from a random kit. Here are the effects we put on it. The Devil Lock gives the bass a nice distortion and a grimy sound. Now here's what the bass sounds like. Next, we added the electric guitars. Using the same method as we did for the one shot, we used the same guitar and ran it through the same FX pedal to give us a good bass of the sound that we already wanted. We just recorded in some similar phrases to the ones in Goosebumps, being really experimental and random with the playing. For the effects on the guitars, they were pretty much the exact same, with the main differences just being that some guitars had a different EQ or reverb. But here are the effects we used. We only quantized one of the guitar layers, leaving the other two to sound as realistic as possible. Here's what the 3 guitars sound like all together after going through the effects. Alright, now that we've got our ambient guitars and our gritty sub bass, we dragged over the same one shots we used from the first part of the sample to complement both the bass and the guitars. Here's what the finished second section sounds like. Alright, that's it boys, the sample is done, but we had to throw on that Goosebumps drum bounce to finish it off. Our final take on Goosebumps sounds like this. Boys, if you like some of the sounds and phrases we've been using in this video so far, we will be including some of these in our upcoming sound bundle, Alchemy. This is going to be by far the craziest product we've ever released with the most value for you. So boys, let's get back to the video, but if you want to join a waiting list and get in on some early releases and discount codes, find the link in the description below.
Next, let's take a look at the hit song No Heart by 21 Savage, produced by Metro Boomin, Southside, and of course Cubeatz with their dark, chilling vintage sample.
Young Savage, why you trapping so hard?
The first thing we did to recreate that dark sound in No Heart, we grabbed this preset from Analog Labs and came up with this dark chord progression. All we added onto this preset was halftime. A technique we believe Cubeatz used on the sample was that instead of having the second chord hit on bar, they brought it forward slightly, and once halftime is added after, it takes away the attack from the sound of the second chord as it was played before the bar hit. There's a technique we definitely recommend using in your samples. We've tried it ourselves and it's a sick technique. So we rendered that pattern out, we pitched it up 7 semitones and added these effects onto it. Both the vinyl and the halftime were super important here, making it sound super dark and gloomy while giving it a bit of vinyl crackle and detune. Here's what it sounds like now. We rendered that out again, pitched it up 8 semitones, added this EQ, and now it sounds like this. Next, we wanted to layer that first sound with an electric piano. However, we wanted to make this electric piano also sound dark, vintage, and gloomy. Using this preset from Analog Labs and these effects, here's what we came up with. As you can see, we used the same technique as we did for that first sound, cutting off the attack for that second chord. We rendered that electric piano out, pitched it up 7 semitones, and added these effects onto it. Now it sounds like this. Now we've got the main dark keys down. Next, we added a bass. The preset we used was from the stock plugin Flex, and it's called Deeper Purple Picked. I swear Flex always has the most ridiculous names. For effects on the bass, here's what we had. As you can see, we took heaps of the lows out of this bass, and that's exactly how it was in No Heart. Here's what the bass sounds like. The last 2 layers for the No Heart sample are just there for texture. The first being a texture that we just cut up, and the second layer being a drum loop, which was just there for ambience. Here are the effects we put on the cut up drum loop, and here's what they sound like together. Alright boys, those are all the layers, the sample for No Heart. Let's listen to them back all together. And to finish it all off, we throw in some No Heart drums to make everything slap. Alright boys, thank you for watching this video. We're doing our best to put more value and more effort into all these loop breakdown videos, so you guys can learn as much as possible. Cheers for watching boys, we'll see you in the next video.